I don't want to fight Mexican is because I represent Mexico.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy.
Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there.
After Canelo Alvarez's loss to Terence Crawford, Ben spoke out boldly, demanding a fight and claiming that Canelo was avoiding the challenge out of fear, pointing to a name that has long haunted him and one he has repeatedly sidestepped.
Fighter in boxing. Ever see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime? I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying, you're the closest thing I've seen to a big dude who fights like that. Oh, Canelo's ducking him. This dude's a monster. And I looked and I thought, am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're definitely right. You know, you're looking at a man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, you know, mess with his game. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not scared of nothing. You know, I accept and I invite war. You know, so if that's what the people of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia want to see, well, let's give it to them. I think everybody is starting to see that I'm fearless, I'm relentless, and I'll fight anybody to get my...
Benz is eager to reclaim his spot at the top, especially after Canelo Alvarez's heavy defeat to Terence Crawford, which left a mark that's impossible to ignore. Recently, the boxing world watched as Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion, moved up 2 weight classes and completely outclassed Canelo, exposing vulnerabilities in the Mexican superstar. The loss wasn't just a setback, it was a statement, with even seasoned trainers like Ronnie Shields hinting that Canelo might be past his prime.
How he didn't want to give David Benavidez the fight because he was being disrespectful.
When you look at the history of Canelo, all the fighters that was disrespectful, calling them out, and he fought all of them. But I just think from a Mexican standpoint, one being extra disrespectful towards the other, he took the sport out of it and he just felt as if he wasn't going to get...
Oscar de la Hoya broke down Canelo's errors in detail, but this fight was more than just a match. It signaled a major new challenge. In an exclusive with Inside the Ring, David Benz recognized Crawford's historic feat, praising him for achieving what very few boxers have. Benz highlighted that Crawford's move up 3 weight classes to become the undisputed super middleweight champion earns him a spot on boxing's Mount Rushmore, noting not only his skill but also his relentless determination, a quality other fighters could learn from.
By unanimous decision, he got that. And I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is...
Long before Crawford's dominant showing, David Benz had been actively chasing Canelo, who had remained an elusive figure in the super middleweight division.
Terence Crawford, a great congratulations. You know, he's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, you can't take that away from him. Terence Crawford should be on the Mount Rushmore in boxing because not only did he go up 3 weight classes, he beat one of the best fighters of this generation. I don't remember any time in history where anybody has come up from 147 pounds and won the super middleweight championship. Not only just won, but the undisputed. He's won every single title. So, you know, man, that man, not only is he a great fighter, but you could tell in that fight by seeing this combination right now how much of a dog he is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of fighters could take a lot of notes from Terence Crawford, not only physically, but as take notes in the heart aspect. And I give it all up to Terence Crawford. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. And, you know,
4 years, Benz, a 2-time WBC champion with an unblemished record of 30 wins, no losses, and 25 knockouts, held the interim title and continuously challenged Canelo's reign at the top.
Right here, I'm the best in the division. If they want to give me an opportunity now or later, I'm gonna keep winning. You know, like I said, I'm gonna be the greatest of my generation by the time I'm done, and my job is not complete until I make that happen. For Canelo and everybody else, it just shows everybody I'm not f***ing around. I'm here to stay. I just look at the facts. You know, the people want to see this fight more than Carlos Adames and Charlo. You know, that's why that fight hasn't happened. But for me and Canelo, we have motion. You know what I mean? I've been winning the fights I'm supposed to win in fantastic fashion. He has nobody else to fight. You know what I mean? So if they want to give it to me now,
The discussions were real, not just speculation, with reports revealing that Canelo was offered a staggering $70 million for the fight, while Benz confirmed he was guaranteed $5 million to step into the ring.
to bash somebody because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him.
But that's what I'm saying. They spin the narrative on Instagram.
Right.
If I say something, they say this or that. But
I only want what I earned.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it. From what the WBC told me, they say you win the title limiter, we'll give you a title shot. You win the WBC interim title, we'll give you a title shot. I've been in this position for 3 years. So just because Canelo, he could do what he wants, as he says,
right.
He's not going to fight the top competition. And he's holding all those belts hostage, bro. And it's not like, you got other great fighters too. You got me, David Morrell's there. Yeah. How is it fair that these sanctioning bodies let him pick and choose who he wants to fight? And then the Canelo fans too that be talking shit, bro. Like, do you guys not want to see the best fights?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to make the best fights happen. And that's it. At the end of the day, I just want...
Once Benz agreed, all communication stopped. No reply, no negotiations, just total silence. This wasn't just hype from a newcomer. Benz had earned his place through hard-fought battles, showing it clearly in 2 recent standout fights. A decisive win over Caleb Plant in a heated grudge match and a dominant performance against the undefeated Demetrius, which led his team to stop the fight.
Everybody has been in front of me, and Canelo's no different. And I will hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts. It's crazy that he asked for 150 million or 200 million to fight me, but he still has the nerve to say that I don't bring nothing to the table. So if I didn't bring nothing to the table, why are you asking for more money than you won in your whole career if I don't mean anything? Maybe after he gets that money, he could buy himself a pair of balls. What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a f what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm #1 in the division, #1 contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the #1 or the #2 guys? Why is he asking $200 million? Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him at like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when...
Reflecting on his journey, he said, "Since I was 3, my dream has been to become the greatest boxer ever, and that's exactly what I plan to do," explaining that this ambition pushes him to pursue the biggest names in the sport.
Canelo, Benavidez, if they fought, which I don't think they're going to fight no time soon, who do you think will win?
Man, that's hard to say. I think both have pros and cons. You know, I feel like the things that Canelo does better than David. There's things that David does better than Canelo. In a way, I'm not comparing it to this fight, but it's like the better be of Bivol fight. You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised that Bivol won, or I'm surprised that Better Be of won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight, like who had the best camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
If David can get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, then, you know, that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. You know, if Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot. David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but, you know, would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? You know, you'd be, no. So
what happened next only intensified the drama.
I'm not the one that's going to chase all of them. Like, these guys are monsters, but this is the monstrous world.
And what happened next would only heighten the drama.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. Sure.
How
does five?
You saw De La Hoya
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Call for David Benavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later. But I'm focused 100% on this fight.
Is there a possibility, or you just go one at a time and you also speak with your team?
Yeah, I go one at a time, but you know, it's a possibility. Always.
Right.
But I've been in this position my whole life. One was that was in Toronto in 2012, 11. Then Mayweather, then Lara, then Cotto, then Callum Smith, then Golovkin, and then if I beat Benavidez, it's gonna be other guy there they want me to fight. Right. I've been in this position my whole life, but you know, is that time when that fight they ask, I give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
But right now in this position I am, now is the time I need to ask.
Canelo's silence only fueled Ben's determination, leading to pointed outbursts. In the Inside the Ring interview, he didn't hold back when asked about Canelo's response, saying, "He's definitely scared of me. If a fighter talks trash, why not prove it in the ring, beat me, and make big money?" Benz highlighted Canelo's past struggles against strong opponents and noted that Canelo sees more than speed and power in him. He sees heart. Confident in his own fearlessness, Benz added, "Fighting another great only makes me better. If Canelo could have beaten me, it would have happened by now. And now, he believes Canelo has no chance."
He's definitely scared of me. You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. You know, not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going in there and I want to prove myself to the world that I'm the greatest fighter. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't scare me to get in there with another great fighter because I know that elevates me and who I am.
This wasn't just talk. It was a firm statement of intent, though the situation is complicated by weight classes and hesitation from other top fighters. Benz recently moved up to light heavyweight, showing comfort and ambition at that level, and when asked about making 168 pounds, he replied, "No," adding, "Honestly, let Terence Crawford do his thing. I lost interest in 168 a long time ago." He made his focus clear, "I'm more comfortable at 175, chasing bigger fights, going after the top names, and aiming for cruiserweight."
Fight with me way back then because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this confidence. I'm stepping into my prime. You know, I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight. And like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer.
Ben's move up in weight challenged Canelo's dominance, hinting he might outgrow the division where Canelo holds all the belts. Adding another twist, after Crawford's historic win, his trainer Braun McIntyre immediately ruled out a fight with Benz, saying, "We're not interested in that," leaving Canelo in a rare spot with fewer excuses to dodge the fight fans have been waiting for.
Steps up that says, "I am the new guy to carry that torch forward."
Kind of like how when you beat Tyrone Woodley, because you were the guy coming up and Tyrone Woodley was a dominant champion for a long time and you went and you beat the shit out of him. It's the same thing. I'm preparing very hard for this fight whenever it does happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you know, I stay training, I stay evolving as a fighter. Not only do I want to prove to the fans, but I want to prove to myself that I'm the best in the world. So if the fight comes, you know, good. If it doesn't, it's not the end of my career. And if he doesn't want to give me the opportunity at 168, that's why I'm going up to 175 right now. Because I'm not going to wait for nobody either. This fight's going to put me at the #1 contender to fight for the WBC title. And those are going to get unified at 175. So, you know, like I said, dreams always come true. It doesn't matter if somebody else is trying to stop you. You're going to find your own way and you're going to make your dreams come true.
To be honest with you, man, let Terence Crawford live. That's his weight class.
Okay.
I lost interest in 168 a long time ago. You know, I mean, I know that we could get offered a lot of money to go down to 168, but I'm more comfortable at 175. I'm chasing better beef. I'm chasing Bivol. You know, I'm chasing these other bigger. I'm chasing Surdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So I've been at 168. But
Canelo still appears to have options at this critical stage of his career. With the Crawford loss still fresh and a rematch off the table, his schedule is open and he has 2 fights remaining on his contract, leaving everyone wondering about his next move. Most analysts view Benz as the obvious choice, a dangerous new challenger who has clearly earned his opportunity. However, Canelo could still opt for an easier fight to protect his record and prolong his reign against less threatening opponents, and the boxing world is watching closely to see whether he will finally take on the challenge or continue avoiding it.
That's going to tank the rest of his career if he keeps trying to fight. Well, it's tough to say because he's made enough money that he can retire. He really has nothing else to prove. We saw him go up. He tested himself all the way up as far as he could go. He won the light heavyweight title, then he lost to B-Ball. So that shows that the light heavyweight was his ceiling. And that's good enough. Really, right now, he got nothing else to prove. Of course, if you keep fighting, people going to demand you fight the monster because both you guys are Mexican. But to me, you probably shouldn't do that. You understand me? It's probably not a good fight for you at this point, for real, especially coming off a loss to Terrence Crawford. It's just, to me, I don't see the hunger there to really beat the monster. You understand me? And that's what my problem was already. I didn't think it was a good fight for him because I don't think the hunger is there. Terrence Crawford just showed us that the hunger is really not there anymore like that. You understand me? So you have to be extraordinarily hungry to go out there and beat the monster because you got to put pressure on him from round 1 to round 12 or it's not going to work. And if you're not hungry, you're not going to do that. Same thing he would have had to do to Terrence Crawford. He had to put pressure on him from round 1 to round, I'm talking about solid pressure, no space between them. He had to be in his chest for 12 rounds, but he ain't hungry enough to really do that. So if you're not hungry enough to do that, don't go waste your time. Just call it a day because everybody gonna want to see you fight the monster. I don't know if they're gonna be cool with you fight anybody else, but they're gonna keep pushing the monster narrative at you. You feel me? Now, if he wants to have a few more fights for himself, that's cool. But then it's gonna get very tainted with the fact they're gonna say, yeah, you fighting, but you avoiding the monster. You understand me? That's gonna tank the rest of his career if he keep trying to fight. So
a major new force is shaping these high-stakes decisions. Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, who is transforming boxing with immense financial power. Al-Sheikh has openly teased big fights, even hinting at a super middleweight clash between Terrence Crawford and David Benavidez, potentially sidelining Canelo. This Saudi-backed drive for blockbuster matchups adds another layer of complexity as the financial stakes continue to soar.